So boys and girls, yesterday we talked about shadows, and I did find my book with Bear, and it's called Bear's Shadow, and it's by Frank Ash. And in the library, you can see how many different books I have by the same author. I have Bear's Bargain. Whoop. Let's see if I can fix this. Sorry. I have Bear's Bargain, and I have Happy Birthday Moon, and I have Moon Dance, and I have Moon Cake, and I have Moon Bear's Dream. Oh my goodness. And I have Moon Game, and they're all with a little bear. So they're going to be in the library if you would like to check them out and see them. And maybe we'll try to read one of those, because I think I have a special idea for Mother's Day using Little Bear. I'm going to put them on the side here so you'll be able to check them out. But let's take a look at Bear's Shadow, because yesterday we read a story called Shadows. And this story is by Frank Ash, and he's the author. Oh, take a look at the pictures. Take a look. Look at the shadow. Look at how the shadow's moving, and look at the sun. Look at how the sun is moving. Look where the shadow is now, and look where the sun is. See, the sun's going this way, so the shadow's going this way. And then there's no shadow when it's night. Let's go back here and look. Look, when the sun's on this side, it hits the tree, and the shadow goes this way. When the sun is right on top, the shadow is below it, and you can't see it in that picture. And as the sun moves into the afternoon, the shadow goes this way. So let's take a look at what happens in our book. One day, Bear went down to the pond with his fishing pole and a big can of worms. While he was putting a worm on the hook, he looked down and saw a big fish. I'm going to catch that fish, thought Bear to himself. See it? But when Bear stood up to throw his line in, his shadow scared that big fish away. Go away, shadow, cried Bear. But Bear's shadow would not go away. Okay, said Bear. If you won't go away on your own, then I'll just have to get rid of you. And he put down his fishing pole and began to run. He ran around the pond. When he got home to the other side, he kept on running. He ran through the field of flowers. He jumped over the brook. He hid behind the tree. Good, said Bear. Now Shadow can't find me, because he's hiding behind a tree. Where's Bear's shadow? I see Tree's shadow. I wonder where Bear's shadow is. But Bear was wrong. When he stepped out from behind the tree, the first thing he saw was his shadow. Nearby was a cliff. Bear walked over to the cliff and looked up. I'll climb so high that Shadow won't be able to follow me, thought Bear. Think he's going to get rid of his shadow? So Bear climbed higher and higher until at last he pulled himself up at the top. Huffing and puffing, he smiled with pride. Then he looked down, and guess what? He saw his, you're right, his shadow. Now Bear was very annoyed, so he went home, and he got a hammer and some nails, and he nailed his shadow right to the ground. That'll keep that shadow down, he thought. And he hammered and hammered until, but no matter how many nails he hammered, he could not nail his shadow down. If I can't nail him down, thought Bear, then maybe I could just bury him. So he went out and got a shovel, and he dug a hole. When the hole was deep and wide, he let his shadow fall into the hole. You think he's going to get rid of his shadow? Then Bear filled the hole with dirt. And when he was finished, it was almost noon. Noon is when the sun is directly above your head when you stand up. And the shadow was nowhere to be seen. At last, thought Bear, no more shadow. So see, when the sun is directly above your head, your shadow is actually under your feet and you really can't see it. But remember, that sun starts here in the morning and it rises in the east and it goes higher and higher in the sky. And then at nighttime in the afternoon, it goes down until the moon comes out. But now Bear was very tired, so he went inside and he took a little afternoon nap. And while he slept, let's take a look. This is where it shows you. Time passed, and the sun once again cast shadows everywhere. Because remember, this is at 12 o'clock noon. That's like almost a little bit after our lunchtime, kind of when we're cleaning up our lunch. And then, this is when we play with our, when we do our second step video, and the sun's moving a little bit. Uh-oh. You see the shadow? And then here's about 1:30 when we go home and you see the shadow and it's getting bigger, it's getting longer. See, it's really short here and it's getting longer. And then look, this is late in the afternoon, probably about 3 or 4 o'clock, and look how long that shadow got. Because as the sun moves across the sky, the light shines different on objects like that shovel. When Bear got up, he opened his door, and guess what? He saw his shadow on the floor again. "Not you again," exclaimed Bear, and he slammed the door, hoping to lock up that shadow inside. But Shadow was much too quick. And there he is on the door. Sighed Bear. "How about this? If you let me catch a fish, I'll let you catch one too. Nod your head like this if it's a deal." So when Bear nodded his head, Shadow nodded his head too. So Bear went back out to the pond, and once again he threw his line in the water. But this time the sun was in a different part of the sky, which made it much easier for Shadow to keep his part of the deal. Do you remember earlier in the day? His shadow, let's go back to the beginning of the book. In the beginning of our day, his shadow, you see his shadow was in front of him. His shadow was in front of him because where the sun is in the sky. So it cast a shadow in front of him. But now at the end of the day, or later in the afternoon, the sun is on a different part of the sky, and it makes his shadow get cast on away from him in a different way. And when Bear caught his big fish, Shadow caught his big fish too. The end. I'm so glad I found that book, boys and girls. So again, they'll be in our library with all the other ones by him. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to see what else I can find for us for today.